In this section, we're going to be covering regression. So we're going to be finding the equation of the straight line that best fits the points in a scatter plot. And we're going to call that line the regression line, and the equation the regression equation. So we've got regression line, regression equation. We're going to be making predictions and then briefly discuss outliers and influential points. The regression line is often called the line of best fit or the line of fit. It's the straight line that best fits the scatter plot. We can find that equation, y hat, by using the same test that we did in 10.1 on the calculator. And sometimes we are going to be asked to find the predictor variable. So the regression equation expresses a relationship between x, or which can sometimes be called the predictor variable, and y hat, the dependent variable. And we're going to go into more of that later, but this is the regression equation. And maybe you remember from algebra that right here, we used to actually, it looks really similar to y equals mx plus b. It's just kind of reversed around y equals b plus mx. And it's the same thing, y-intercept, and this is still our slope, if you kind of recall back from your algebra. You don't need to know that, but it's just good to know. Good to recall, I guess. So if we want to find the equation of the regression line, we are going to enter the data into list just like we did before. This is exactly the same as the last section. We're going to find the linear regression t-test, and it will actually give us a and b, and that will be our y-intercept and our slope, and we can calculate it, and I'll show you how to actually type it in to the to the y equals to actually determine and see it on your calculator. You can round these to 3 significant digits if you'd like. So if you deleted your Nobel laureate data, go ahead and put that back into your calculator. Again, just place that data back into your L whatever is it. I still have it in my L1 and L2. So press play when your data is in your calculator. And then once your data is in, we're going to go to Stat, Test, Linear Regression, T-Test. Oh, and I usually like to go from the other way, but that's okay. And it's in L1 and L2. Can keep it as not equal to and calculate. And A and B is what we're looking for here. See how that says y equals A plus bx? So y equals, and we'll say y hat equals our A is negative 3.367 plus, well, I think it's plus, just assuming, B, yep, 2.493. And don't forget your x, okay? So this y hat is the predicted, and remember we plugged in x and y there, our predicted Nobel laureate rate, because that was our y, Nobel laureate rate. And then the x is the amount of chocolate. So that is how you find the equation. So if that's helpful to read that. We know that it's an estimate of the true regression line, and it's just because it's just based on one particular set of sample data. So, okay, now we have this, and they've done it to 2 decimal places. We're going to graph the equation on the scatter plot and examine it subjectively just to determine how well the regression line fits the data. So first we're going to go into our y equals. So again, y equals, and we're just going to type it in, negative 3.37 plus 2.49x. Ooh, sorry about that. My calculator did not like, let's clear it out. Negative 3.37, I'm going to use the plus key here, plus 2.49, and I'm going to use the x key. All right, so then I'm going to go back to my second y equals, because I want to look at my stat plot. And I've got to turn it on if it's not on, scatter plot, and it's L1 and L2, if we recall. L1 and L2. Let's clear that out. I'm having some calculator issues here. And I have a lot of data, so I'm just going to make them little dots. And I'm going to go to Zoom 9 or Zoom Stat. And so that is graphing the line and the data. If I made those dots too small, we could go back to our stat plot and make them a little bit bigger and then go to Zoom 9. Now they're really big, but you can see that, yeah, it does do a pretty good job. It's not all the way close, definitely closer at the bottom, but it's pretty close. So go ahead and give this one a try. You're going to find the equation, and it says let the predictor variable x be the first variable. In general, you can just kind of assume that. And then it wants you to find the equation, graph the regression equation on the scatter plot, and just decide how it fits. So press play when you're ready to see the solution. And there you go. The R is 0.799, which is a linear correlation, and it's pretty good. So we're going to pause there, and when you come back for part 2, we're going to be making predictions with good and bad models.